well. This is Justine from Girls Gone Happy, and today I'm going to be walking you through 7 ways to make the back to school season in 2020 exciting, fun, and something for you and your kids to look forward to. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before we get into our 7 things to do this fall to make back to school fun and exciting, I just wanted to set a little context. This back to school season is really weird. And it might not just be weird, it might also be really hard, depending on what your family is going through. Folks are struggling with a wide range of logistics and schooling options and stress and work. And so what we're going to talk about are 7 things that you can do for yourself and for your kids to help to establish a sense of ritual, ceremony, and peace this fall. Now, I have 2 blog posts that I'm going to link below in the description of this video that go into far greater detail than I'm going to here. Because my guess is that if you're here, you want some quick little nibbles of things that you can maybe put into practice like today. So what we're going to talk about are 7 things that are simple, don't have to be expensive, don't have to be hard, and again, bring a little bit of ritual and ceremony to the fall, because I think that's one of the things that all of us are struggling with really missing this autumn. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into it. Number 1, airplane rules. When you are on an airplane with small children, you parent differently. Am I right? I know I certainly do. As I mentioned, there's a blog post linked in the description where I get into greater detail about who I am on a plane and who I am off of a plane. But I wanted to start off our list by saying I give you full permission to parent like you're on an airplane, because we're on a real big, long flight, my friends, stuck together, going somewhere we're not sure of for an indeterminate amount of time. So whatever you need to do, just like when you're on an airplane, maybe some of your expectations are lower. Maybe some of your rules are a little bit looser. No one's judging. Go for it. I give you full permission. If you need to let your kids stay up later, eat things that they normally wouldn't eat, or have a little bit more flexibility around screen time, try not to be too hard on yourself. This whole situation is really, really challenging. And if you need to loosen things up a little bit, because this is a marathon and not a sprint, it is okay. There's always going to be time to rein things back in. There's always going to be another chance to course correct. But give yourself some permission and some grace to parent like you're on an airplane. Number 2, school supplies. Even if your school is a kitchen table. Like we were talking about before, there is something so important about ritual and ceremony. It helps us feel grounded. It helps us to have something to look forward to. It helps us connect with each other. There's a lot of ritual and ceremony around back to school, and we're missing it with the virtual, hybrid, switching gears at the last minute kind of school situation that's going on this fall. So even if you are just doing school around your dining table, my friends, buy a pen. Even these pens, I cannot tell you how much joy they bring when I see them on sale at Staples. Go bananas. So whether it's something like this or folders, if your kids are doing virtual school and you want to get a poster for behind them for Zoom calls, whatever it might be that brings you joy, that again does not have to be complicated, expensive, or stressful, get it. Get it for yourself, get it for your kids. And if you're kind of at a loss, I have linked below 3 articles that I found really helpful that have items that are handpicked by teachers and that are specifically chosen for virtual and hybrid schooling this fall that could be really useful places to start. So go forth and get your staples on, even if you're doing school at home. It'll just feel good. Number 3, get your fall on, okay? Fall is the best season of the year. Fight me on this. Actually, don't. You can't, because I'm correct. It's the best. It's amazing. There's so many wonderful things to do during the autumn, and I have this feeling that with all of the mishigas around the back to school prep and so much stress trying to figure out what is going on, that we've kind of lost the ability to just enjoy the autumn and look forward to the things that bring us joy this season. So I invite you to sit down with your kids and make a list of at least 5 things that you love to do in the fall. Again, what are our rules? Don't have to be hard, don't have to be expensive, complicated, or stressful. If you are at a loss for ideas, we have a Pinterest board that I've linked below. It's called Back to School 2020, and I chose a couple of different pins that have graphics, these lists of different fall activities, so you can use them even with kids who aren't reading yet, and they can pick their favorite sweatery, cider donut-y, wonderful things to do. Another perk to this is perhaps one of the silver linings of folks working at home and doing some schooling or all of schooling at home is there can possibly be a little bit more wiggle room in our schedules, meaning that we're not just together in the evenings and weekends, we're also together during the day. So even if it's just a 5 or 10 minute break during the day or before school in the morning and before work when you and your kids, or just you by yourself, that is also okay. You don't have to do everything with them. Can go take an autumnal walk and have a cup of coffee or a cider, wear a scarf, go for a bike ride, jump in a pile of leaves, or even if you're just working from home and they're doing school and you light a delicious scented candle, make some applesauce in a crock pot, you do you. I don't know what your fall druthers are, but enjoy them. They don't have to be hard, and definitely something to write down and do. Speaking of stuff that we love to do in the fall, next one on our list is creating fall goals. And let me be clear, when I say goals, I do not mean big complicated things that we are trying to accomplish and we're going to feel bad about if we don't. I'm talking more about what part of your life do you want to be focusing on and nurturing, shedding some love on, watering those plants between now and the end of the year. We got about 16 weeks left of 2020. This is a great time to just choose one part of yourself or your life that you would like to shower with some attention and affection. So maybe you already have in mind something that you'd like to shift, work on, or just love on a little bit more. If you don't, I have an activity in the blog posts that are linked below using our clarity deck, but I'll tell you a little bit about it here. Super simple. You can do it for yourself or with your kids. I think that would be really cool to do it as a family. Normally in our clarity deck, we talk about using the question cards, but for this, I would use the topic cards that look like this. You can pick a topic and simply write down what you'd like to work on, shift, or love and give attention to in that part of your life. So this one I just picked is the future. This one here is family. And if you're feeling stuck and you're like, okay, great, I picked family, I want to give it some attention, but I'm not sure what exactly, that's when you can choose a question card to help you get a little more clear and focused in terms of what's important to you, what you might want to be paying attention to. Like here, just picked one at random, the sidekick. I love this one, it's so good. Who's waiting to help you here? What must shift in order for you to receive this help? Okay, so you might want to think about this question in relation to family. It's a really, really simple but extremely deep and meaningful way to just pick one part of your whole life pie that you want to be focusing on and then think through how. I think, as I was saying, this would be a really cool thing to do as a family. You could do with your partner where you each pick one, or you could even do it as a whole group where each person gets to pick a topic, and then as a family you talk through some of the things that you love about that part of your life together and some things that maybe you want to work on. It's a simple but meaningful way to set some goals and set some attention and intention around different parts of your life for the rest of 2020. All right, for numbers 5 and 6, I'm talking to you, Mama. I'm gonna get a little serious for a second. Number 5 is your little kids don't know what they're missing. That is not to say that little kids are not wise, that they don't understand what's going on, or that something is awry. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that a lot of the hurt that you're feeling, a lot of the sadness and grief that you might be experiencing around this back to school season looking so different for them than what you were hoping for, what you were looking forward to for them, they don't know that. They know that they got a new backpack. They know that they are getting to stay at home with mom in the mornings. They know that they're going to a new school or a new space with a friend or the place that has a play kitchen. They know what's right in front of them. They don't have the pictures, memories, visions, and expectations of kindergarten or whatever school experience your kids are going into that you have, right? So they don't have that same disappointment that you have. And so I just want you to remember that, because it can be really heartbreaking and challenging when we feel like our kids are not getting what we hope for them and want for them. And when we worry about how they're going to be navigating a strange new situation that could be upsetting or frightening or disappointing. So as much as you can, try to remember what you are feeling and see where their joy is and excitement is in the kinds of experiences that you are putting in front of them and creating for them. Now, this is different if you have older kids because they do know what they're missing. And they might have a whole social world and experiences at school that they haven't been able to engage in for a couple of months, and it's really different when they're going back. And so for parents of older kids and for the kids themselves, the next thing on my list is grieve. Let yourselves grieve. It is grief that you're feeling. And I think there's something really important in naming that and allowing yourself to feel that. We don't just grieve when somebody passes away. We grieve all the time throughout our lives. And this is a time where you and your kids are being asked to let go of something that's really important to you, that you don't want to let go of necessarily, and that maybe you weren't ready to let go of. Those plans, those expectations, those things that you were looking forward to for this school year. It's okay to be really sad about them, and it's okay to grieve. So in the blog post that I've linked below, there are a couple of different resources to folks who have writing prompts around grief, who have discussion posts about grief, and ways for you to think through grief as well as talk about it with your kids. For me and for folks in our community, another tool that we use is our loss deck. It's this guy. And this is something really simple, loss deck, that you can use by yourself. If you have older children, something you could use with them as well. And for doing this, I would just suggest when you are experiencing those big feelings or with your child to just pull a question card. Think about whatever letting go this season is asking of you, and see how it relates to the question that you've picked. If that feels a little heady for you, it's always easy to pull a topic card like we were talking about before and find a topic that helps to ground your thinking. Okay? But whether it's a tool like this that helps you to just focus on your reflections, focus on your feelings, and not get lost in the sauce, because that happens to me a lot as a big feeling Enneagram 4 person. A tool like this can be really grounding, focusing, and helpful. And there's a ton of others that, again, I'll link below. But long story short, it's okay to feel grief and let yourself and your kids feel it. Number 7, last thing on the list is connecting with friends. I know you are zoomed out. Did you know that people are having 20% more meetings now than before the pandemic? It's bananas, it's unacceptable, and of course you are tired of looking at a screen and talking to people. I get it. But that being said, maintaining your friendships, maintaining your social life, and maintaining your connections to people is so important for your mental health. That's a big thing that we talk about and do at Girls Gone Happy. I truly, truly believe that friendships are an essential part of our wellness, both as people and as a collective. And I think it's the same with your kids too. So what is going to make this different than a Zoom meeting is try to create a gathering with friends that feels special and different. Not a fetch fest on a group call or a Zoom chat where you guys are just, rehashing what you did this week or complaining about stuff. That's not going to fill your cups. Finding a way to get together on a regular basis and doing something together that feels a little bit special, and especially for your kids, this is going to be a really awesome thing for them to look forward to that, again, gives a little ritual, ceremony, routine, and rhythm to the week. So I have 3 ideas for different super simple, not expensive or complicated parties that kids can do once a week in the link below, and the 5 ways to get excited for the school year to come blog post. And then I have a couple of ideas for you as well, my friend. And one of those is we have a free virtual circle guide that helps you to think through how to put together a gathering for friends where you have deep conversations, really connect on a more intimate level that sometimes we can be missing, especially when we're in triage mode and things are really stressful and crazy in our lives. So if that's something that's of interest to you, the virtual circle guide is a free download that spells out everything from how to invite people, who to pick for your group, how to hold space for those kinds of conversations, activities, conversation starters, all of it. It's for free, and that's also linked below. Whatever it is that, again, feels like it fills your cup, is a little bit special, and doesn't stress you out, make the time for it this fall. Okay. That's all we got. 7 ways to look forward to this back to school season. I hope that these were helpful. Let me know which ones you're going to try in the comments below. And if you have other suggestions, I would love to hear them. I hope that you guys have a wonderful start to the school year, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.